Hello class, welcome to AIL606 Software Technology. This is a fully online course, so we won't be seeing each other face to face this semester, though we will in fact schedule a couple of synchronous sessions for us to get together. What I'm going to do in this video is to give you an overview of the course. This will be a general overview, and then in separate, I'm going to do about 5 slides. The first slide is going to be a general overview of the course where I walk you through the syllabus, and then I'll do an overview of the assignments that you have to do for this class. So, and then as I'm doing that, I'll sort of give you an overview of how we're using Blackboard. Okay, so let's start with our course syllabus. Okay. Software technology, and for this semester what we're going to do is we're going to look at mobile learning. The learning objectives are to identify the current technologies and trends in mobile learning, to look at the affordances that we get from mobile learning, to look at best practices for design, to actually develop an application. Now that can scare some of you, but you're not going to be mobile app developers and ready to go to work for Microsoft tomorrow developing the latest and greatest app. But what you will be able to do is to design an app that accomplishes a learning function in addition to some other functions. And what I found and what you'll find is just like there are editors, web development editors that will allow you to build web pages without knowing HTML, there are mobile app developers that will allow you to design mobile apps for Android platform, Word platforms, Windows platforms without you actually knowing the code behind it. So we're going to use some software that's drag and drop that would allow us to do it. Just because it's drag and drop doesn't mean it's going to be simple. It's easy, but it's not simple. I guess I can put it like that. And then, as usual, we're going to do some evaluation of what it is that we design. In terms of textbooks for this class, there are 4 of them, and none of them are available in the bookstore, and I don't know quite why I did that, but they aren't, and I know why I did it. If you look at these books, the first 2 books are Designing M-Learning, Tapping into the Mobile Revolution for Organizational Performance. You can get that book from Amazon. I have a link to Amazon. You can get it anywhere you want to get it. There may be some used copies in the bookstore, but I'm not sure. And so this book looks at mobile learning, not just in terms of in school settings, but in other organizations. And so when it starts to do that, you begin to look at the role that money plays in these decisions that we make, and market share and those kinds of things, which are things that we don't normally think about in education, but maybe we should. Then there's another book that's focused strictly on mobile learning for higher education. And I want you to get both of those books. I recommend getting both of these books in their paperback versions. The next 2 books, I'm going to recommend that you get them in their ebook versions. This Content Mobile for Strategy, I'm going to just go to this page. You can see the ebook is $9. The other 2 books are $18, and you can get both of them for $22.50. And the reason I'm asking you to get some of these books in ebook format, let's go back. The reason I'm asking you to get some of these books in ebook format is because we're doing a mobile learning class. And if we're doing a mobile learning class, a part of mobile learning is reading our books on our devices as opposed to reading them in the paper format. And I'm sorry about that. That's my telephone. I mean my what you call that thing? My iPad that just went off. And this Learning Everywhere is another one that I recommend you get in the ebook. You can get the Kindle edition for $20, where you see that the hardcover costs $30, and you probably don't want to spend that much. But I recommend that you get at least one of these books in ebook format, and preferably 2 of them. So you get to think about, so you get to draw some conclusions at the end of this course about what it's like to read from an ebook and to study from an ebook versus a paperback book. So that'll be part of our learning experience as well. If you've already bought these books and you bought them all in paperback, don't worry too much. I'll find something else for you to read in an ebook, but I'll be asking you that maybe as we move forward in the course. There are some optional materials, and these are just materials that we've used when I've taught this class before. We've used the 4 books that I mentioned last fall, but prior to that, we used some other resources. Um, let's see. I like this one. This Fraser one. M-learning is not learning on a mobile device. So it looks at what distinguishes M-learning from other kinds of learning. What kind of things do we want to do on a mobile device? Do we want to do the same things on a mobile device that we would do if the person was accessing our learning via a computer? Is that reasonable? And those kinds of things. So we want to say M-learning is not learning on a mobile device. So I think those 2 are worth reading. I mean, all of them are probably worth reading. And if you scroll down a little bit more, there's something called the M-learning Opedia, which is like the M-learning encyclopedia. That might be interesting. And 61 tips on e-learning, making learning mobile. That might be interesting just to download. And when I first taught this class, we actually, instead of designing the apps themselves, we designed prototypes for the apps. But what I found is that since I taught it the first time, you can actually design using these drag and drop apps quicker than you can design using these templates. The idea behind the template is that you as a designer could design what you want, then you can pass that template off to an actual designer who would build it. And what we're going to do in this semester, you're going to design it and you're going to build it yourself. That's because the app makers that we're going to use are going to allow you to do that. If you were to generally look at the topics that we're going to cover in this course, we'll do Introduction to Mobile Learning, which covers outcomes 1 and 2, the principles of mobile learning design, and then that should be development and evaluation of mobile learning designs. So that's what we're going to do this semester. And those are the exams and assignments. I'm going to go back and double check that and make sure that those numbers, that I didn't change the numbers in the body of the course. And what we're going to do here, the grading policy is standard. There are 1,000 points, you get 900, you get an 8. There are only, right now, there are either 4 or 5 of you in this course. So, in our deadlines, I think you have ample time to do this. So even though there are only a few of you in the course, I want you all to keep up, because that's going to make it the best for all of us, especially since we're doing this course at a distance. So let's get our work in on time. There's no such thing as attendance policy. I guess there is, because there are some synchronous sessions, but I want your full participation in this course. One other thing, don't cheat, don't copy, don't steal. But the last thing is this one. This is disability statement that we at the University of Alabama put in each syllabus that we create. If you are registered with the Office of Disability Services, please make an appointment with me as soon as possible to discuss any accommodations that may be necessary, any course accommodations that may be necessary. If you have a disability but have not contacted the Office of Disability Services, you need to do so, or to go over to their offices. I think sometimes people are leery of going to disability services. I had one student to tell me that she didn't want to be tagged as a person with a disability. Now, I've never registered with disability services, so I can't speak to whether or not what she said was realistic, but it was her reality, so I have to accept that. But on the other end, I know people who have, because they have had disabilities, and disabilities are defined a whole lot more loosely than you would think, that I have known students that have had accommodations made for them. In fact, I had a cousin who graduated from the University of Alabama here, and her accommodation was her instructors had to give the Office of Disability Services the books that she would need for that semester, maybe a semester in advance. You know why? Because they recorded the books. Because she was more of an auditory learner than a visual learner. And I just found that fascinating. But she also found it very helpful to you. So, I mean, from my perspective, I say take advantage of these services. If you don't, that's your decision. But if you need some assistance, please don't hesitate to ask me. And the sooner you do that, the better off we'll both be. Okay? That's about all I want to go over in the syllabus. If you have any questions about it, you can email me or you can post to the discussion forum. And so let's talk a little bit about that right now. If you look at the course, what we have here is we have the syllabus that we just looked at. And over here on the left hand, is this left? I get left and right confused, believe it or not. You have a tab to send email. This send email tab actually will send the email to my University of Alabama email account, and it will tag the message with AIL606, so I know where the message is coming from, and it comes to the, and actually I've designated a mailbox for all my course mail to go, so it'll go to that mailbox. And I recommend that you do that as well, so that you can keep up with all the mail from the class. I recommend that when you want to email me that you use this tool. The only time you should email me and not use this tool should be when this tool is not working. Okay? I'm just afraid that with all the email that we get, that if you send me the email any other way, I may not get it. Then you have a list of assignments. And we're going to, in each, I guess your assignments they have 4 areas. The one area is Introduction to Mobile Learning Activities, and this is from Intel, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. The other one is Introduction to M-Learning Design. The next one is Introduction to App Development Tools. Then the next one is an Introduction to your final project. And so we'll talk about those on another slide. Then you have a discussion area, and there are several discussions that we will have. This coffee house is a forum that I will not monitor. That is your forum, where you can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. I recommend that you not talk about me, because even though I'm not going to read it on a regular basis, I may end up seeing it. Okay, and then we have main, and because we aren't meeting each other, if you have general questions about the course, I recommend that you put them here. And I want to show you something about each of the forums that we have here. There is a subscribe. When you open the forum, there will be a tab that will allow you to subscribe. And I'm going to unsubscribe because I've already subscribed from my teacher side. But so now I've subscribed to this forum. This means that anytime somebody posts to this forum, I will get an email sent to my University of Alabama email account. And this applies for all the forums that are in this class. So I recommend that you subscribe to this forum, to the Moving into Mobile Learning forum, to the Creativity forum, to the Book Reviews forum, and to the Peer Evaluation forum. And all of these messages will be prefixed with AIL606. So if you create that folder in your mailbox where all your AIL606 mail will go, you will have an easy way to know when things are happening in the course. Of course, you don't have to subscribe to these. You can just check in every day, but that's on you. You are responsible for what happens in this course, and that's just the nature of it. And even though we have a syllabus, I reserve the right, if circumstances warrant, to make changes in the syllabus. And what I will do is I will give you ample notice of those changes, and I will adjust due dates if they are affected by any changes that I make. So anyway, that's our discussion board. We also have a couple of wikis that we're going to be using in this class. One is the App Development Tools Wiki, and the other is the M-Learning Design Wiki. And I'll talk more about those when I talk about the related activities, assignments. Then we have a page with some app development resources. And once again, I'll talk about these a little bit, on a separate slide, so I can go into some detail about what's going on this particular page. I'm trying to keep my videos short, so I'm not doing everything in the same video. Then you have your My Grades. Now, this one is confusing. Now, it's not confusing to me, but sometimes I think it's confusing to students. All the activities that are going to be graded in this course are listed here. And when I grade them, your grade shows up in this grade book. Not only does the grade show up, but if there's a rubric associated with this course, if you roll over the assignment name, you will see the rubric, and you'll be able to see what my comment, you'll see the rubric, but you'll also see my comments that I made on your assignment. Typically, if I send an assignment back to you, I always have comments, unless it's from a discussion board. I may not have a comment on every discussion, but I typically have comments on all the discussions that you make. So, on all the assignments that you submit. So if you go to this page and you just focus on what the number is, you need to make sure that you look for the comments as well, because there will be comments. So I think that's about it in terms of the tools. Oh no, I missed one. There is a book review selection. Let's go to that one. You are going to have to do 2 book reviews in this class. And your first, you have to make a choice between, let's do that. Come on, click. Between Content Strategy for Mobile and the Mobile Academy. So 2 of you can choose Content Strategy for Mobile, and 2 of you can choose the Mobile Academy. So that will be your first book. And for your second book to review, 2 of you can choose Designing M-Learning, and 2 of you can choose Learning Anywhere. These 2 books are longer than the other 2. That's why I'm having you do 1 of each. But you need to sign up for this, and I want you to sign up by August the 24th. I'll probably mention that again as we move forward. So that's it for our general overview of the course. I'm going to end this particular section, and then I'm going to move on to the assignment. So if you have any questions for me, email me or post to the discussion board. Thanks.